So there has been storage space, well, I kind of made it storage space in my closet in this one little area where it is just packed with a whole bunch of random things. It would be the equivalent of a junk drawer, but there are things that I actually really like in there and I don't want to just toss it. Yesterday, I had an impromptu deep cleaning of that little junk drawer closet corner, and I found a lot of good stuff that I completely forgot about, a lot of my old art. So I wanted to repurpose it, and I thought of some cool things to use for them, which also got me thinking about some other things that I want to talk about too. So that's what this episode is going to be about. Thank you for tuning into My Day on Canvas podcast by Summer Silvery. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is available to stream on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. All links are in the description of this episode, including my art shop, artbysummersilvery.com. Before I forget, I want to remind all my listeners that this Friday will be my first giveaway. I will be giving away and mailing a 5x7 canvas panel to one of you guys. And in order to, enter into this giveaway, let yourself be known that you are listening to my podcast. I am giving away this panel to a listener who is actively engaging in my community. It is a thank you from me to you for being a part of My Day on Canvas podcast. Now, what did I find in this closet full of mess? I found a lot of drawings that I had done in 2019 with Sharpie marker. It's on a thick sketch paper, so it's perfect with what I did next. I also found a golden glass picture frame that I hadn't even opened yet. So what I did was I took that drawing and I cut it out and I put it in the glass frame, and it looks so good. It's just floating there and it looks really, really good. I posted a reel about my day today on Instagram, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about on there. But that was one way that I repurposed this drawing, because otherwise it would just kind of just exist. Just sit there in the sketch pad, or this one was cut out in a folder and it was just sitting there. And I really, really liked it, so I wanted to display it. And for those of you who have not seen my art studio setup, where I am recording this podcast episode right now, it's against a dark green wall, and it's like a maximalist wall. I created a maximalist wall with my artwork. I am a sucker for organized chaos, and that's what I've created on this wall. Something else that I decided to repurpose was an old paint palette that I had used. I have these clear acrylic paint palettes that I purchased on Amazon. When you're about to use them, there's a film that you peel off of the palette. That's where the acrylic lays, and it's easier for the acrylic paint to come off. Well, I forgot to take the film off one of the sides of my paint palette when I was using it. So after I had finished one of my large paintings, I looked on the other side and I peeled the film off. It was so clean and clear on that one side. It was so clear you could see all of the paint splatter and the paint that I had used for that canvas. So what I did was, on the side with all the dried paint, I put black paint over top of it. So when you turn it over to the clear side, it's just pops of these vibrant colors. So I wanted to put that on my wall, but I don't have the right hanger for it. I want to get a gold knob for it and then hang it, and that'll look so much better than using a nail or something like that. And that way it can dangle and it's not just smashed up against the wall. So those are a couple things that I've done today with my old art to repurpose it. But there are a couple other things that I want to touch on as well, because I'm going to be doing it. I just haven't done it today. There are a few paintings that, they are not good. They are not good. So I will be repainting them. I will be painting over them so that I can still use the canvas and it's not a waste. I don't want to throw the canvas out. So be on the lookout for that in an episode, because that will be happening. And then something else that I have been seeing on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, I like to look at other artists and what they're doing with shipping their art, because that is a huge mystery to me. It's kind of as they sell, you figure it out. That's where I'm at right now, because I don't have a consistent dimension size that I work with. I have lots of different sizes for my art. So something that I wanted to try with some old art that I am not wanting to throw away, but also not happy with. I want to use one of these methods that I found other artists doing, and it makes me really, really nervous to try it on a canvas that I do like, so I'm going to try it on these old ones. And that is turning the canvas around, taking all of the staples out of the actual canvas, and then taking the canvas off of the wood that it was stretched on, and then rolling the canvas up into a tube and shipping the canvas out to whoever had purchased it. All of that makes me nervous. When I see artists do it, it makes me nervous. I'm working with acrylic paint, and the varnish that I use and everything on it makes it so that it doesn't crack or do anything scary like that. But the fact that there are artists out there brave enough to take large paintings and unravel them and roll them up and then put them in a tube and send them on their way, that is brave. So I'm gonna take some old canvases that I have and try that method of undoing the canvas from the wood, rolling them up, and then putting them in a tube and just see how that goes. I'm really, really curious about it. And if that works, that's gonna be a game changer for shipping for me. Game changer. There's gonna be a lot less space, and it's gonna be a lot less packaging materials that I would need for the paintings. So it's definitely worth a try. Stay tuned for an episode specifically on that and a video, because you already know that I will be recording the entire process. That is all I have today for this episode. If you are interested in looking at the old art that I repurposed and talked about in today's episode, go over to my Instagram. I have a reel all about it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of My Day on Canvas. I'm your host, Summer Silvery.